want to welcome you and let you know how great it is to have you here for the Greater Purpose Podcast.
What's up? Welcome to the Greater Purpose Podcast from the Cubs room. Hear the cheering crowd? Yeah, no. So my friend George was not as impressed with the Cubs room as most people because he probably is familiar with cricket, right? I don't know, which sport is your most favorite sport?
Football.
Football.
What
Okay,
you call here soccer.
Right, but the real football, right?
Yes, real football.
Right, there you go. Okay, so that's his. So he walked in, and this is not full of soccer stuff. So he was not as impressed.
I'm familiar with it anyway,
Yeah.
because I lived in Venezuela. I'm originally from Venezuela.
Oh, yeah.
And all of these sports are known over there.
Yeah, there's
it's
a
the
bunch.
most popular sport in Venezuela, and lots of their players play here.
Yep, a lot of stars from Venezuela have played in the major leagues. As a matter of fact, as Chicago Cubs. But we're not talking about that today. We're going to talk about our guest in just a minute. Before we do that, make sure you like, subscribe, and share. As we spoke about before the podcast, about another person's podcast, I'm asking you to like, subscribe, and share. That's the only way that the Greater Purpose is going to reach people. They're not going to just find it, mystically. You've got to share it. So we appreciate all of the subscribers and the people who like and watch and view. And also, we want to make sure if you've missed any podcasts, you can go to the-greater-purpose.com and you can catch up on all the podcasts. This will be episode 54. So we've had 54 episodes. We're past our first year anniversary. That's pretty exciting. Want to say thanks to Stephen Wright, my producer. Want to say a special thanks to I get emotional about stuff, right? I already told you that. I want to say a special thanks to my executive producer, who is my wife, Donna Ward. She watches every podcast and tells me what I did right and what I did wrong, which is good. I need that. So very good. Women are very perceptive about stuff that we may not see.
Okay.
So I appreciate.
Do you know how I know?
I think I know how you know. Yeah, you got a ring on, right? Oh, you don't have a ring on. Okay. How do you know? How do you know how perceptive they are?
No. I'm married.
Okay. Yeah, you just don't wear a ring. Okay, gotcha. All right, but is that an English thing that you don't wear a ring? Venezuelan thing? Or?
It's because of safety in my job.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because you're always handling tools and stuff like that. So anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. We can talk about that too. That's what you know by now, though, folks. We may talk about anything on the Greater Purpose. We have a particular format. We do want these guys to come in here and share their inspirational stories about who inspired them, where they came from, what it means to be a godly man, to be becoming a godly man. But sometimes we go off on other stuff, so you never know where we might end up. So that's that. Also, the Greater Purpose of a Godly Man Men's Conference is coming up. And that's the flyer, but it's going to flash up on the screen in just a second there. We have a great slate of speakers as we have for the past 3 years. This is our 4th year. It's going to be a great time. And I did find out we have a little extra time. So we may be trying to talk somebody else into coming to speak for about 10 minutes. We haven't talked about that yet. But anyway, no promises, though. But you never know. That might be a hint at something changing in the schedule. But anyway, great speakers. Refreshments, free food, guys. Come on, free food. Door prizes. We got some great sponsors. I don't have the whole list, but it's going to pop up on the screen there too. Great sponsors that are supporting this event. So please come. April 27th, 1 to 4 p.m. You're going to have a great time. You're going to be inspired, and you get to eat some free food. So that'll be cool. So I am going to introduce our guest today, and I hope I'm saying the last name right. I didn't confer this. George Zambratta.
Perfect.
I did it. Good, George. Glad to have you here on the Greater Purpose Podcast. So very quickly, at the very beginning, we like everybody to know who you are, because I know who you are. But tell everybody out there who George is, real quick.
Well, I am a Venezuelan that moved to the U.S. legally legally, I want to make emphasis on that.
Yeah.
Because we respect the Lord, we respect His rules, His principles. He worked wonders to bring my wife and myself to the U.S., specifically to the Kings Mountain area first. And she's worked as a teacher in different places for the past 9 years.
Wow.
So
awesome.
That's how He brought us here miraculously, because we didn't have a penny, but He provided everything for us.
Wow.
And He paved the way for us to come here.
So what year was that, out of curiosity?
2015.
Okay, great. So, all right, great. So it's almost 10 years then. Getting close to 10 years. Good deal. So, and George, tell us what you do for a living.
I worked for Heaven's Best Carpet Cleaning with Greg Humphrey.
Yeah.
A great servant of the Lord.
Yes, he is.
And he's a magnificent person, and his cleaning method is the best.
There you go. There you go. We like to plug that. That's good. Good deal. So tell our guests, when was it that you first realized you woke up one day and you said, I need to be a godly man? Or was it a progressive? When did you recognize you needed to become a godly man?
It was definitely a progressive thing, because I had been in and out of church for several years. I had a huge gap of forgetting about the Lord. I was a pagan, and I did the worst unthinkable things that you may think of. But one day, I had found the perfect excuse to stay away from Christianity, even though I knew that it was the right path. I told people, well, I will come to the Lord at the right day, to the right place, when He tells me so. He will direct me to do so. So when any Christian came to me and said,
that was your answer.
Yes, told me about the Lord, that was my answer.
Wow.
So one day,
threw them off, right? They didn't know what to say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They thought it was, wow, that's a godly thing, but it really wasn't.
There you go.
So one day, I was passing by a place, and I feel some strange energy on my left side. I had never walked through that street, and I looked at the building. It was a Christian church. Okay.
That was it.
This is a place. One day I was returning from the university. I remember it was a Monday afternoon, and I heard that inner voice that is a spirit.
Sure.
I didn't know back then.
Yeah.
Go to the church I showed you.
Wow.
And it wouldn't stop. I had to go, and it was open.
Yeah.
It was all meant to be. That's a long story, a very nice story. I can tell you another day. And
so He took you up on your promise.
Yes, it was a self-fulfilled prophecy.
Wow, that's great.
And time went by in that church. One day, I feel that very same small voice telling me, go and dig deep into scriptures. And when I started studying and reading properly, that's when I knew.
Yeah.
Fear of the Lord, holiness, integrity.
Awesome. Yeah. So you said from university, so you were college age at the time, which is?
I was a teacher.
Oh, okay. Oh, gotcha. No, so we didn't know that part. So you were a teacher where? At
one of the leading universities in the center of Venezuela.
Wow.
The University of Carabobo. I was teaching English for specific purposes of reading in the science faculty.
Wow.
For chemistry, computer science, physics, mathematics, and biology.
Wow.
And then I went back to the place where I started as a student to teach literary appreciation.
Wow, that's great, man. So listen, Chad Brown, if you're watching this podcast, we now have had somebody smarter than you in here.
Don't say that.
We can kid around with our friends, right? That's pretty cool. I'm impressed with that. So, first time we've ever had anybody from out of the country, as far as I can tell, and first time we've ever had a university teacher. So that's pretty neat. That's pretty cool. All right. So, and we talked before. You said, I noticed when you said you walked by a Christian church. Now, around here, when we say church, we say what church you go to. Nobody normally differentiates, but was that because you're differentiating between which kind of church and a Christian church? I mean, because you grew up around Catholicism, you said. So, and I did too, which was kind of interesting. But so is that just the way you say it, or is there a reason that you specify a Christian church? What other kind of church would there have been?
Well, there would be Catholic churches, but in Venezuela and in most Hispanic America and Brazil as well, people would not consider Catholics Christians because of the way they live.
That's why I was
most
asking
of them.
Gotcha.
Because they have these rituals that are not really biblical.
Right.
However, there are people that genuinely love the Lord in the Catholic Church that you can tell that they are Christians, and you know that the individual is Christian, but the practices of the church are not.
Yeah, and I grew up around that a lot up north. So now here, the Catholic churches that I'm familiar with and the people that I know, they do love the Lord. Jesus Christ is their Savior. And so they do understand all that. And it's a little bit different. So yeah, they're different and different. But that's why I asked, because I figured there was a difference there between that. So in your transformation, understanding you need to walk that godly walk, who have been, can you pick out one man or woman that's been your biggest inspiration in all that?
That's very hard.
Yeah,
it would be several people.
That's part of what we like. It's hard, but we're gonna expand on some others in a minute, though. So who would be the one if you had to pick one or two?
I need to pick three.
Three or three. We'll go.
First one is Sister Mary, the one I was telling you about. That was really funny.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Second
one.
He
told me beforehand about her, not you guys. You don't know about Sister Mary, right?
Sister Mary, a funny lady, very loving of the Lord, who would walk down the streets telling everybody about Jesus.
Yeah.
So I knew about Jesus.
Yeah.
Since a very tender age.
That was because you were in London and you were born in Venezuela.
Yes.
Moved to London.
I moved to London for a very short time.
Okay, so she was
returned to Venezuela.
Okay, so she was in Venezuela. Then.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
That was when I was a child. Then I would name Aunt Virginia.
Yeah.
She is a perfect personification of a Christian.
Oh, wow.
Of a suffering Christian.
Mm.
She suffers everything, no matter how bad, and she still loves people.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Great spirit.
Yes, a very sweet spirit. And I will name this person because this was a turning point for me. A Christian pastor called Giuseppe Auteri, Italian.
Okay.
Pino Auteri.
Yeah.
We worked together in a program, and then he said one day, well, the Spirit will tell you this or will direct you this way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's struck a chord with me again, because I had heard that so many times during my life, but not well used, because many people use it as an excuse to project their own will. And
right. We talked about that before too. God told me. Right. Yeah, exactly.
So he said, I asked him, hey, Pino, how do I know when the Spirit is talking to me? And how do I know that a person is really, or the Spirit is talking to me in a specific moment? And he said, when somebody speaks to you about Jesus earnestly, sincerely, and according to the Bible, that's the Spirit talking to that person, because the Spirit will not tell you anything different from what's in the Scriptures.
Not contradict. Yep, exactly.
With my scientific mindset, I said, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I need to read that book.
There you go. That's cool. See, so you had a jump. So you sound kind of like Lee Strobel. You know, I don't know if you're familiar with Lee Strobel, but yeah, you different backgrounds and stuff, but still kind of similar. Going in with the analytical attitude.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's cool. Pretty neat stuff. So how do you feel like you are most effective? You've been inspired. You're doing your best to walk the godly walk, and we know we're not all there. We get that, but we're walking the walk that Christ has us walking. How do you feel like you've used that to be most effective, specifically in other men's or boys' lives, to help them become godly men in their life? So,
well, I thought about this.
And you probably have 1,000 different things you can share.
Yes. Yeah. I thought about this a few days ago, and I was talking with my wife about it, and she said exactly what.
Good inspiration.
Yes.
Yeah.
A good inspiration.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
Yep.
A great Christian.
Yes, they give us direction. I'm telling you. Yep. Absolutely.
So what she said was exactly what I had been thinking, and it is the following: I listen, and listen again to the person who's talking to me.
Yeah.
I do not interrupt, and I let them explain thoroughly whatever they want to say. And when everything's said, then I process information and I try to give them truth. And this is a key word for everything, truth.
Yeah.
Because the truth shall set you free. That's what the Bible says.
Yep.
Jesus Christ is the truth. So I go to biblical principles,
Right.
whether they like it or not.
There you go. Yeah.
And I tell them, this is what the Bible says. This is a principle. It's an eternal principle. Whether we like it or not, including myself, it's an eternal principle. And the only way to fix it is what's written in the Bible.
Yeah. You don't want to just puff them up and give them the hyper grace, the old hyper grace message, because that will doom them to hell. So,
No. Firstly, because of what you say, and secondly, because I am pretty respectful with when it comes to these fashions of Rima words. People want to give a new word and throw Rima words. If things are not aligned with the scriptures, don't take them.
Right. No, absolutely. Yeah. Cool. So, and I know you're going into, we won't go into the details of this, but he is probably going to be on another podcast that you're going to watch, KTF podcast at some time. And he'll go more into detail about what he does speaking at churches, and other organizations about the socialist, the socialist overtaking in Venezuela and that kind of stuff and how it relates to Christianity. But I'm sure that you're reaching men specifically there who maybe have been sitting back in the pew going, whatever. And then you come in and you deliver this, mind-blowing story that you lived through. I'm sure that that's got to be reaching some guys that are, come out of there.
Oh yes, definitely. My wife and I do a presentation. I am the speaker. She helps me with the projector images and other things, and sometimes she talks too. But mainly is showing what the situation is, and what the situation has been historically in countries that have gone through this. And then what happened in Venezuela. I don't mention anything about the U.S. or politics.
Right.
People, if they have
it. They recognize it, though.
People will recognize it, and then they will, in the Q&A, they will start asking questions. What do you think of this, or what do you think of that? I'm not going to give you any examples here. We'd be speaking for hours.
Yeah, I know.
So
we talked about that, and we may do another podcast just on that later.
So I tell them why it is a mirror image of what happened in other places and what could be done to prevent it. However, we're all made of the same material. And
so I imagine when you're doing that, speaking about reaching other men, you see a guy, though, sitting there in the pew, and you see his eyes light up, and he gets it. Now he's understanding some biblical principles that connect to this political thing that you're talking about. So I could see that. So, sorry about that. First time I've ever coughed in the microphone. Maybe I'll have to edit that out. I don't know. Maybe I'll leave it in there. All right. So, I sent you some topics, and you picked. What did you pick on the topics? I can't remember now. 5 men who've inspired you, 5 women who've inspired you. You picked your
mix and match 5 people.
Mix and match 5 people. Okay, so you gave us 3 already, right? So really
3 from that specific point.
Oh, good. So you've got 5 more.
Yes.
Good. Let's hear
one of 5 would be one of them, actually. So the first one I would mention is my English teacher in high school. He was a patriot. That's something that changed something inside me as well.
Wow. Okay.
Because most kids don't pay attention to the nation's values.
Right.
And when I saw that, I said, wow, he loves the country, he loves the nation, he loves its principles, he loves its music. He would teach also to play the regional musical instruments.
Okay.
And some people would say, but that's about music. I didn't like the music either, but I liked the principle that he taught about love your nation,
Passionate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
And have strong principles, integrity, and honesty, and that changed me.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
That one moment changed me.
Yeah.
The second person would be Aunt Virginia. Aunt Virginia is the personification of a good Christian, as a person that loves the Lord, that loves others, that suffers, and still she will love you and embrace you and give everything for you.
That's awesome. Cool. Yep.
The next person would be Tucker Carlson.
There you go, Tucker. Yeah,
Tucker Carlson, because he defends truth.
That's cool.
And he says that the trademark of darkness, the hallmark of the trademark of darkness is the hatred of truth.
Wow. Yeah.
And that resonates.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely. And
it resonates with my fight for biblical principles and for freedom.
Yeah.
Those are the two things I preach wherever I go: Christianity and freedom. And Pastor Roger Woodard, my current pastor, I had prayed for years.
At what church?
Kings Mountain Family Worship Center, Church of God.
Great.
I had prayed for years to be under a pastor like him. It's like walking with one of the apostles, because he knows the Bible completely. There's no other teacher like him. The best biblical teaching you can ever find. And it's funny that one day I was at church and there was a minister visiting from Compassion
International.
International.
Yeah.
He said, "I've been all around the U.S. in many churches, and I don't know a pastor like Pastor Roger Woodard." I agreed with him, because as a missionary, I've seen loads of pastors all around the world.
Right.
My wife and I and her dad did missions in the Venezuelan and Colombian Amazon.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And we know lots of pastors in the area. Yeah. And he is my answered prayer to be under such a good pastor.
Okay.
I love him, and cool. I don't think there's a better pastor in the U.S. than he.
Well, we'll argue about pastors, but no, I'm just kidding. No, that's good. That's awesome. Good. So that's 4. Was that 5 or was that 4? Did you have one more?
I think it was 4.
We got one more.
Yeah. Now I forgot the 5th one.
Uh-oh. It was somebody famous, wasn't it? I don't remember now. I looked at the list. I apologize. That's okay.
I apologize too.
No, that's okay. All right, cool. Well, that's pretty cool, though. So you had your 5 topics. Good. And guys, we would love to go into more. We could go into so much depth, but you got to go to his Facebook and see where he's going to be. Zambratta, spell it. Sambratta.
Zambratta.
Z. Oh, sorry. That's the Z.
Yes.
Z, right. Yeah. Gotcha. That's the yeah. So what I say? Did I say Z?
S.
Oh, S. I'm sorry. Not S. Yeah. Zambratta. Great. George Zambratta. And you've got to go to his Facebook page and follow him. Check out some of the stuff he's doing. You're going to be in South Georgia, right? Or something?
South Alabama.
Alabama. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. So, but he's doing some really good stuff. It is, we call it politics, but it's not political if it's truth.
It's truth, and it's fighting for the freedom of the nation and of the world.
Right.
I usually tell people this: the south of the U.S. is the last bastion of freedom for the world.
Yeah.
So we're doing a presentation on globalism and socialism and how to fight against that.
Go. Yeah, we're not giving you any more. You've got to follow him to do that. So we're not giving it to you on this podcast. Maybe we'll have you back for a different format podcast. We'll talk about that later on. But before we do anything else, now that we've covered your inspirations and all that good stuff, we have to give you door prizes. Did you know you get door prizes?
I didn't.
Okay, see, if you don't go to the end of the podcast and watch the door prize part, then you don't know this. So what I'm going to do is give you your wonderful parting gifts. So first, not door prizes, parting gifts. So first of all, you get a Mr. Bill's STEM Education and Bill Ward Photography bottle of hand sanitizer. So how do you like that? There you go.
Yes,
so
I love it.
That's a shameless plug for my businesses. So, and you get to Oh, wait. And I will give you an official autograph. Yes, that's me. Willie Ace, Chicago Cubs baseball card. I will autograph it, and we'll put number 54 because your podcast number 54. And since it is autographed, it'll be worth exactly what it's worth right now when you leave here.
Okay.
Which is not much. But anyway. And we have, I don't know if you knew this, but we have some Lego superheroes. And you get to choose a Lego superhero, and you say, why a Lego superhero? That's your cue. Why a Lego?
Why a Lego superhero?
There you go. So, well, first of all, and I have one too. I've got my own Iron Man. Okay, because of STEM, science, technology, engineering. Right, STEM, engineering. You have to build them. See, I had to build mine, so you have to build yours. Not in here, but later on, you have to build. So there's your engineering part. And because we feel like the men who come through here, in God's eyes, that they are superheroes. So you get to choose. How familiar are you with Marvel movies? Sort of, kind of.
Okay.
All right. So this guy was one of the heroes on Captain America, with Captain America, but it's not Captain America.
Have you got anything Star Wars?
His name is Dum Dum, and I didn't want to say that. No, not the Star. I don't. I think the Star Wars ones are taken. So we have a black suited Iron Man. We have, I don't know if you know who Gamora is. She was on Guardians of the Galaxy.
From Sodom and Gomorrah?
No, not that. Yeah, different Gamora. I know, right? That's terrible, isn't it? That's Thor. That's a more modern Thor. There's Pepper Potts, which is Tony Stark's wife, Pepper Potts, in her own Iron Man costume.
What's that one with the sword?
The sword over here.
That blue thing. Yes, that one.
That one is one I was trying to identify. I'm pretty sure that is Black Widow, but I'm not 100% sure because I thought Black Widow was blonde, was redhead, but I think that's Black Widow. And Ant-Man. We have Ant-Man. And we have Vision. I don't know if you know who Vision is from the Marvel movies. I think you like Vision. You should do Vision because I think you have a vision. Unless you saw one that you liked here.
Well, maybe that one of Captain America.
Okay, the Dum Dum. You want Dum Dum? That's what the Dum Dum Dugan is his nickname. Yeah, he's not Captain America, but that was his sidekick. Yeah, Captain America's gone. Oh, we got the raccoon from Guardians of the Galaxy too. Then you don't know all those things.
I have the Vision.
Vision, there you go. Vision. That's perfect. Good. All right. See, that was the most difficult part of the entire podcast.
Yes.
No. All right. So now that we did that part, you have to give us a sports story or sports-related story. So what you got for us?
Well, I love football. I played football for some
Soccer.
time. Yes. And
which is called football. Why I don't know why we call it soccer.
It's because of differentiating three different sports in the end of the 19th century.
Oh, that's where it all okay. Okay, no problem. Yeah. But then I know rugby is right. That's one of the
one of the three.
Derived. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
which is a crazy sport.
Yes.
You know. Did you ever play rugby?
No, I didn't.
Good for you. It rattle your brain, right?
Yes. Yeah. Indeed.
Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
So in the World Cup 1982, played in Spain, the Brazilian team was a magnificent team. They played what people have called art football, the most beautiful football ever played. Some people say that the best team was 1970s team that won the World Cup in Mexico with Pelé as the leader. And certainly it was a magnificent team, unbelievable quality. Mm-hmm. But the 1982 team played a more beautiful football, and it shaped the essence of good football for the years to come, in the sense that they played beautiful, they were effective, they were not aggressive, they were the cleanest team to play in that tournament.
Finesse, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and sadly they lost to the Italian side. They just lost one match, and that was enough for them to be out.
Yeah.
But they had a good strategy. Italy was the World Cup winner. but the team that everyone in the world of football remembers is Brazil because of the way they played.
Okay.
And they have influenced lots of clubs around the world. And if you go and interview most of the managers nowadays, they will say that Brazil 1982 team made me dream.
Okay. So how old were you in 1982?
I was 12.
Okay. You were just a youngster. So, all right.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And another short story about another team.
Sure.
In the Champions League, there was a final between Manchester United and Bayern Munich.
Okay.
And Manchester United was losing 1-0, and there was only 1 minute and injury time left. And in those few minutes, Manchester United managed to score 2 goals and win the Champions League when the Germans had everything ready for the celebration.
Oh, wow. Oh, they were ready.
And that was in Germany.
Oh, yeah. That's happened before here in other sports where the team that thought they were going to win, they were ready for the celebration and they didn't win. So is Manchester United your team? Is that your team, or do you have a...
It's my team from the clubs in England.
Yeah, okay.
Because we like clubs in different countries.
Okay, gotcha. So you pick a different...
Football fans watch football from different countries.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's cool. Pretty neat. All right. Well, George, listen, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your ministry. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, share, like, do all that good stuff. And follow George on his Facebook page and watch some of the good things that God's going to do in this man's ministry. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, and may the Lord bless your ministry as well.
God bless you. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Thank you. God bless.
Cheers.